Once again, is Mshamba Marekani. Welcome to All Topics Considered podcast. African Americans are the majority in America. African Americans population in America is over 73 million. How many are German Americans? How many are Italian Americans? How many are Irish Americans? How many people are Polish Americans? How many are Mexican Americans? I'll let you answer that. 73 million plus African Americans. That means they are 22% of the population. African Americans are over 73 million. And by this case, I'm not including black people from Africa, the Caribbean. I mean African American. The numbers for African Americans over the years has been manipulated to paint African Americans as the minority, which really ain't the truth. And the true minorities, especially in the entire world, are the people of Caucasoid extraction. That's a topic for another day. In the beginning, I asked you about the population estimates for the groups, ethnic European groups I mentioned. Well, let me give you approximate figures. German Americans population is 44 million, making them a majority of people of Caucasoid extraction in America from Germany who have German roots. German Americans, 44 million people. African American, 73 million people, and it's 73 plus million people. Let's continue. Italian Americans are 15 million. Irish Americans, 33 million. Mexican Americans, 37 million. French Americans, or however you want to call them, 10.4 million. African Americans are over 73 million. Now, with those numbers, who is the minority? Do I hear cricket? Do not lump the European migrants into one group of white people to make them appear as the majority. Let me tell you, when it comes to African Americans, the population of African Americans is not inclusive of Africans. When it comes to statistics, the Nigerian Americans, Kenyan Americans, Tanzanian Americans, or any other people from Africa in America, their population is set separate. It's not lumped together with African American population. So, that being the case, why is there people of German, Italian, Ireland, and French being lumped together as white people? Do you guys see what I'm trying to say? This is to make it seem like the white people in America are more. Because if you separate them, like I've told you, German Americans are 44 million. African Americans, 73 million. Do you see African Americans they are going to be the majority? And German Americans in that case, compared to African American population, will be the minority. But now, if you lump these groups together, the people of Caucasoid extraction from Europe, you lump them together as white people, they are going to appear as the majority. Let's continue. So, do not lump the European migrants into one group of white people to make them appear as the majority. That's also a different topic we can discuss the whole day. And this is the same discussion I had with somebody. They said, okay, simple question. Are all those groups I mentioned not whites? Yes, they are. When they check a box for race, what do they check? Yeah, they check white box. So that's why they're clustered together. Let's continue. The groups I mentioned are white, and they are used as open quotes, white collective, close quotes, to justify themselves as the Americans' majority, so as to structure and manipulate your thought process and conceptual pattern, so that the real minorities who are white illusionary feels and represents itself as America's majority. But they don't want you or themselves to see their particular ethnic groups as minorities. This is due to their numerical inadequacy. This is apparent in a drive to divide the vast majority of non-whites into fractional/frictional minorities. African Americans, Nigerian Americans, Jamaican Americans, Haitian Americans, Kenyan Americans, etc. are all one collective black group, but are divided into fractional minorities because they are non-whites. And this is evident in demographics, numerical/categorization. Why are the whites in America not grouped as such, but as a collective? Because they would fall into their real true minority status. I suggest you educate yourself on the color confrontational theory. Let's continue. Black people in USA are not categorized into different groups by other black people, but they are categorized into different groups by people of Caucasoid extraction. This is simple math. What percentage of USA total population is 44 million, 15 million, 33 million, 37 million, and 10 million? That's for the population I mentioned before, for German Americans, French Americans, etc., and 73 million separately. If you take the total USA population, which is over 300 million, and you calculate the percentage of these numbers, 44, 15, 33, 73 million people separately, don't tell me, unless you are suffering from confabulation. Now, be honest with yourself now, which is the least percentage there, which is the minority. If you are able to do the math, now tell me who is the minority there. And by the 73 million plus is not a collective number of different ethnic black groups. I want you guys to get me. All along, what I'm saying is the number of African Americans is 73 plus million. Again, don't choose to ignore and be unable to solve a simple math. African Americans, 73 million plus, which is 22% of total population. German Americans, 44 million, which is 13.4% of total population. Irish Americans, 33 million, which is 10% of total population. Italian Americans, 15 million, which is 4.5% of total population. Mexican Americans, 37 million, which is 11% of total population. French Americans, 10.4 million, which is 3.7% of total population. Now, with the help of those figures, who amongst all these people a minority? Don't you lie to yourself. 73 million, which is the population for African Americans. The true population, 73 plus million, which is 22% of the population. French Americans, 10.4 million, which is 3.7% of total population. Now, it's just taking these two groups. Who is the minority? We are using numbers here. This is America. It's a numbers game, isn't it? Everything is a numbers game. The 73 plus million is not inclusive of all people of color. The 73 million plus is the number for African Americans. They are the true majority at 22% of total USA population, followed by German Americans at 13.4% of total USA population. That's raw facts.